Protesters stormed the gates of the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, setting fires around the complex. The massive crowd retaliating for American airstrikes against an Iranian-backed militia group in Iraq. And just in, the Pentagon sending additional forces to protect the embassy. President Trump blaming Iran for the protest. Here at home, the New Year's storm, heavy snow, ice, and flooding. The new system moving in, going coast to coast. Ginger Zee in Times Square, counting down the forecast to 2020. Tight security in place for the party of the year. Hundreds of thousands packing into Times Square. And for the first time, a fleet of high-tech drones keeping watch over the crowd. New details about the desperate search for two missing children. Police warning they are both in danger and saying their mother has completely refused to help find them. New reporting on that deadly church shooting in Texas, the minister revealing they had prior contact with the gunman. The scare at the front door.
I've been shot.
A man saying he was carjacked, kidnapped, robbed, and shot, escaping to a house, pleading through the home security camera for help. The unsuspecting driver swallowed up by a sinkhole, opening up in the street without warning. And the growing wildfire emergency in Australia. Thousands trapped, cut off by the flames, some rushing to the beach to be rescued as Sydney sets off its famous fireworks display for the new year.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on a busy New Year's Eve. I'm Whit Johnson, in for David tonight. We begin with the breaking developments overseas. The American embassy in Baghdad under siege, the situation escalating. Hundreds of protesters storming the gates, retaliation for U.S. airstrikes targeting an Iranian-backed militia group in Iraq. The mob setting fires, scaling the walls, breaking through the outer barricades. Protesters smashing doors and windows. U.S. military choppers overhead firing flares to protect Americans on the ground. The embassy now on lockdown. About 100 Marines sent in for support, and we're just learning hundreds more troops could be on the way. President Trump warning Iran will, quote, pay a very big price. ABC's James Longman leading us off.
Chanting death to America, an unprecedented assault. Hundreds of Shiite militia and their supporters today laying siege to the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. It's supposed to be one of the most secure in the world, and yet crowds tried to storm the compound, setting fire to guard posts and embassy walls, prying an embassy plaque off the entrance and trying to break through windows. Just a pane of glass separating guards from protesters. American troops taking up position on the roof of the embassy, firing tear gas at times as hundreds of U.S. personnel hunkered down inside. In the fog of tear gas, the flags of Kataib Hezbollah flying outside embassy walls. It was that Iranian-backed militia targeted in U.S. airstrikes over the weekend after they killed an American contractor. Their supporters had come from the funerals of their fighters to attack the embassy. President Trump today laying the blame directly on Iran, tweeting, Iran will be held fully responsible for lives lost, adding they will pay a very big price. This is not a warning, it's a threat. Happy New Year. And he called the Iraqi Prime Minister, demanding he protect the U.S. Embassy. But Iran's grip over Baghdad's government is tight. One sign of that today, before the attack, Iraqi security services had allowed militia members to flood this diplomatic area, normally off limits. By nightfall, a show of force. 2 American Apache helicopters firing flares over the embassy in a warning to protesters. About 100 Marines have now arrived to reinforce security at the embassy, and we're learning hundreds more U.S. troops could be deployed to the Middle East as early as tonight.
So let's get right to James Longman. And James, right now there are still no plans to evacuate the embassy?
No, that's right, Whit. And tonight the situation outside the embassy has calmed, but those militia groups have repeated their vow to retaliate against the U.S., demanding its withdrawal. Tensions with Iran still at an all-time high. Whit.
All right, James Longman, our thanks to you tonight. Meanwhile, back here at home, the New Year's Eve storm on the final day of 2019. Drivers facing heavy snow and icy roads near Brecksville, Ohio. The driver of a semi-truck injured going down an embankment in Indiana. The trailer hanging from an overpass there. Plus, a new storm ready to hit the West on day one of the new year. Let's get to ABC Chief Meteorologist Ginger Zee. Ginger, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Whit. All the folks around me very happy with the forecast for tonight. Yes, we've had a little sprinkle or two, but it is going to be mostly dry tonight. Look at this Times Square ball drop forecast. The temperature 39, which is above average. The wind chill about 30. But the gusty winds, not going to bother too many folks here. But when you look west, I would not want to be traveling from party to party, say anywhere through Pennsylvania and upstate New York. Those snow showers, the snow squalls coming through, or even rain. Then you go dry to the southeast. It's rain and snow in the Pacific Northwest. Washington State and Oregon could see wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour that could impact their party tonight. Happy 2020 to come. Whit.
All right, thank you, Ginger. 1 million people are expected to pack into Times Square for the iconic ball drop there. Crowds streaming in at this hour. The NYPD out in full force, launching new high-tech equipment overhead. Here's ABC's Adrian Banker.
Tonight, for the first time ever on New Year's Eve, specialized drones will be dotting the skies over New York to protect one of the world's biggest celebrations.
Times Square is probably going to be the safest place on the planet Earth.
About 1 million people will pack Times Square, first going through several layers of security, including metal detectors and bomb-sniffing dogs. Authorities say there is no specific credible threat, but thousands of NYPD officers with heavy weapons will be on guard.
We have all these resources on the ground. Our aviation unit will be overhead, surveying rooftops and ensuring the crowds are safe.
Inside a special command center, there are police monitoring more than 1,200 cameras, as well as feeds from helicopters and those drones. The NYPD also has the capability to block unauthorized drones from above Times Square, and on the ground, blockades of huge trucks, creating a ring of steel.
Nobody else puts that kind of effort into an event like this.
And here's one more note about those drones. These, again, are highly specialized. They are equipped with thermal imaging, 3D mapping technology, and the ability to zoom in on anything on the ground. You can see a lot going on right behind us, one of those massive trucks we talked about, and a huge line of people crowding into the security checkpoint. We hope everyone is safe. Whit.
That is for sure. Adrian, thank you. We move on now to President Trump's looming Senate impeachment trial and possible cracks within the GOP. Senator Susan Collins becoming the second Republican senator this week to criticize Majority Leader Mitch McConnell for coordinating with the White House, and now saying she's open to calling witnesses. ABC's Kira Phillips in West Palm Beach.
Tonight, she is the latest Republican to break ranks with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
It is inappropriate, in my judgment, for senators on either side of the aisle to prejudge the evidence.
Senator Susan Collins of Maine criticizing McConnell's vow to work in total coordination with the White House in the president's impeachment trial, revealing she is now open to witnesses in the coming proceedings. Collins, now the second senator to be critical of McConnell. She follows Alaska Republican Lisa Murkowski, who says she is disturbed by his comments. On the other side of the aisle, their own potential flip votes to worry about. Senator Doug Jones, a Democrat from Deep Red, Alabama, up for re-election in 2020, is now calling on the Senate to allow witnesses for a full, fair, and complete trial in a Washington Post op-ed. But he's signaled he's open to siding with Republicans in a final vote.
If those dots aren't connected and there are other explanations that I think are consistent with innocence, I will go that way too.
And Kira Phillips is with the president in West Palm Beach. Kira, removal from office requires a 2/3 vote, which is highly unlikely. But there are other important matters that only require a simple majority.
Absolutely, Whit. Matters as critical as which witnesses would be called to testify. Could it come down to crucial moderates like Collins, Murkowski, and Romney? If they break with their party, Republicans may come up short, failing to hit that 51 votes, or those 51 votes rather, even though they hold the majority in the Senate. Whit.
All right, Kira, our thanks to you. Thank you. Next tonight, North Korea issuing a New Year's warning. State-run media reporting Kim Jong-un is promising to unveil a new strategic weapon in the near future. The announcement coming 1 week after he promised to send the U.S. a, quote, Christmas gift. President Trump previously warning Kim he risks losing everything if he does not take steps to denuclearize his country. New tonight about that deadly church shooting in Texas. The minister now claiming they had past incidents with the shooter. The church sometimes giving him food, but he would get mad when they wouldn't give him money. Witnesses saying the gunman came in wearing a wig and a fake beard before opening fire. ABC's Marcus Moore in Texas again tonight.
Tonight, new details are emerging about the suspect in Sunday's deadly attack on this Texas church. The church's pastor telling the Christian Chronicle the gunman had been to the church before, saying, quote, "We've helped him on several occasions with food," adding that the suspect would get mad when they wouldn't give him cash. Keith Kananen, who witnesses said was wearing a fake beard and dark coat, gunned down 67-year-old Richard Wright and 64-year-old Tony Wallace before a hero congregant killed him. The entire incident captured on the church's live stream. Kananen had a lengthy criminal record, including arrests for assault in Oklahoma, but a court ultimately ruled him mentally incompetent to stand trial on those charges. It is still a mystery as to why he went back to the church Sunday with a shotgun. The congregation coming together Monday night, holding a vigil at the church.
Tragedy is a word that's often used and a word that nobody wants to hear or say. I lost two great men.
Tonight, police are still trying to pinpoint a motive as the community remembers the two men killed in this tragic shooting. Whit?
All right, Marcus, thanks. Now to authorities intensifying their search for two missing children in Idaho. The siblings disappearing in September. Police believe they are in danger and that their mother knows where they are but refuses to tell them. Here's ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman.
Tonight, police in Idaho fearing the worst for 17-year-old Tylee Ryan and her little brother, 7-year-old JJ Vallow, missing since September. JJ's grandmother hasn't spoken to the boy since the summer.
It was a 35-second FaceTime. We were able to talk to him for those few seconds.
Police now believe their mother, Lori Vallow Daybell, knows either where the children are or what has happened to them. Earlier this year, Lori Vallow married Chad Daybell after his wife, Tammy, died. Police are now investigating Tammy Daybell's death. Chad and Lori fled the state earlier this month after police found they had misled them about the children's whereabouts. Lori allegedly lying to friends, saying Tylee had died over a year ago. Tonight, investigators saying we strongly believe that Joshua and Tylee's lives are in danger.
I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. It doesn't make any sense.
Lori's family believes she joined a religious group created by her husband, Chad.
An attorney for Chad and Lori Daybell says they are both loving parents and spouses, adding, "We look forward to addressing the allegations once they've moved past speculation and rumor, but police want them to come forward now." Whit.
Matt Gutman, thank you. Now to the wildfire emergency in Australia. Massive fires destroying homes, firefighters driving through the flames there. Sydney going ahead with its famous fireworks display despite calls to cancel the event. Thousands facing a frightening start to the new year, fleeing to nearby beaches to be rescued. ABC's Maggie Ruley in Sydney.
Tonight, dramatic new images of the catastrophic fire danger igniting parts of Australia. These firefighters in New South Wales sheltering inside their truck, weaving through a raging inferno, with parts of Australia issuing mass evacuations.
Apocalyptic, this is in the middle of the day.
Record high temperatures fueling the deadly flames, killing at least 12. Thousands in the southeast coastal town of Malakata trapped by the fires. The sky turning a deep red as families seek refuge on boats and beaches prepared to jump into the water.
Pretty extreme. It was very scary.
Flames leaving only charred remains behind. Kangaroos seen fleeing from the smoke. But despite the wildfire emergency, Sydney's still setting off its fireworks show to ring in the new year.
A small group of firefighters from the U.S. have been here since early December, but now Australia is pleading for any and all additional resources. Whit?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Much of the world already changing the calendar to 2020. New Zealand, one of the first countries to ring in the new year with a fireworks display in Auckland. A stunning celebration in Dubai, fireworks shooting from the world's tallest building. And the City of Light pulling out all the stops, Paris celebrating the new year in spectacular fashion. And the stock market ending the year on an up note. The Dow gaining 76 points on the last day of trading, closing at 28,538 points. The Dow up 22% this year. And there is much more ahead on World News Tonight this New Year's Eve. The images just coming in, the small plane crashing just after takeoff. Plus, what the doorbell cam reveals, the college football fan who says he was terrorized by teenagers, carjacked, kidnapped, and shot in the back. And the driver blindsided by a massive sinkhole, the jaw-dropping moment right